The first drops of winter rain hissed against the neon signs over state and lake, turning each color electric pinks, synthetic cyan, outlaw greens, into dripping calligraphy on the pavement. Above, the elevated tracks of Chicago's Green Line thrummed like a taut harp string, the cars streaking past in liquid blurs. Tourists stared upward, phones tilted, hoping to catch a ghost in the lens, the way you catch snowflakes, by accident, mostly in wonder, occasionally in dread. Officer Marisol Vega tried not to gawp with them. Fresh out of the academy, she had been on the transit police force exactly 3 nights and had spent 2 of them chasing pranksters with spray cans. Everything about this post felt temporary. The borrowed jacket 1 size too big, the scratched-up flashlight, even the badge resting against her sternum like an over-promised miracle. But it was permanent enough that the dispatch radio crackled her name whenever something got weird, and in neon-soaked Chicago, weird could mean anything from a pickpocket with a pocket quantum computer to an ice cream vendor with a side hustle in necromancy. Tonight it meant car 407 northbound. Report of a spectral disturbance. Marisol jogged up the iron stairs 2 at a time, boots smacking wet metal. She punctuated each step with the calming mantra the sergeant had drilled into rookies. Observe, identify, negotiate if you can, incapacitate if you must. The word negotiate struck her as bizarre on her first day, since when did cops parley with poltergeists? But Chicago's transit system was older than some countries, and it had collected things. Accidents, suicides, tragedies. The dead, like all commuters, preferred routes they already knew. She reached the platform just as the train exhaled steam, doors sliding open with bored courtesy. Most passengers disembarked quickly, but some drifted out slower than smoke. Literally. Vaporous silhouettes in hats from the 1920S, in 1970S platform shoes, in 2020S corporate hoodies, all transparent at the edges, the glow of the city bleeding through their forms. They boarded and exited without acknowledging mortals, eyes fixed on internal itineraries. Nobody paid them heed. They were as ordinary now as pigeons. Except one. Marisol eased into car 407. Her reflection danced across the rain-speckled windows. A slim Latina with wary eyes, clutching a baton she hoped she'd never swing. In the center aisle hovered a figure noticeably clearer than the typical train ghost. His pinstripe suit looked crisp, almost tactile, and the red carnation on his lapel shimmered rouge against the fluorescent lighting. Passengers gave him a wide berth. Ghosts didn't usually scare civilians, they ignored the living. But this one stared straight back, a predator who knew he was visible. "CTA Transit Police," Marisol announced, voice steadier than she felt. "All disturbances end now?" The ghost grinned, tipping his fedora. "Evening, Officer Vega. Lovely badge you have." She blinked. Name-dropping meant research. Intent 2 red flags. She thumbed her radio, but static hissed louder than words. The lights flickered, plunging car 407 into strobe-lit gloom. Passengers gasped. Someone screamed. "Leave them," Marisol ordered. "Can't," the ghost replied, inching closer without moving his feet. "Entrepisa's timetable. Big job tonight." Marisol took a breath, remembering the negotiate clause. "You have no ride ticket, no corporeal manifest, dispersion order. Right now," he sighed theatrically. "Hate to disappoint, but this city runs on timetables older than mortal paper. Your badge," he pointed a translucent finger, "is the only document I recognize." Instinctively, she touched the metal, bronze, embossed with the city seal. Warm, maybe buzzing. "Recognize?" she repeated, her heart drumming. "Meaning you'll obey it?" "Meaning," he said, leaning so close his phantom breath fogged the visor of her cap, "that it makes you equal to my employer, which is inconvenient." He vanished. Not the slow fade common to spirits, but an instantaneous blink, like a film splice. At the same moment, every digital ad screen inside the car erupted into static. a phrase scrolled across each in lurid pink letters. Rush hour equals crush hour. Time is ours. The message repeated, then the screens died. The lights returned. Passengers murmured, shook it off as another glitch in a city that glitched daily. The train braked at Clark/Lake. Doors slid wide. Humanity poured out, complaining about delays. Marisol remained rooted, knuckles white around her baton. Time is ours. She reported the incident. Dispatch told her to file a 725 GH form and resume patrol. Ghosts rarely got violent. Budget said one rookie was enough. Marisol pocketed her nerves and crossed platforms to the northbound Purple Express. She stopped, though, at the vendor cart, where Mo Popcorn Jefferson hawked kettle corn to commuters and phantoms alike. He was 80 if a day, skin the hue of deep caramel, beard salt white. Mo saw everything. You look like someone stepped on your soul, kid, he said, scooping popcorn into a bag. Ever heard of a ghost in pinstripes? Carnation lapel? Mo's eyes narrowed. You seen Ferryman Holloway? Holloway? Mob fixer back during Prohibition. Rumour says he sold wet goods to both Capone and the state police. His nickname came later, when trains started arriving late on account of bodies. Holloway made them disappear. Mo flicked a popcorn kernel. He follows the money, and time is money. Marisol shivered despite the steam wafting off the kettle. He said my badge makes me equal to his employer. Mo whistled. Then you tangle with the timetable syndicate. She raised a brow. Shadow crew of old conductors, engineers, clock keepers. Died on the rails. They believed the city short-changed their pensions because time kept moving after they didn't. Now they rob minutes. Whole hours sometimes. Skimmed off clocks when nobody's watching. Little larcenies. You don't notice. The bus shows late. Meeting drains faster than it should. Those disappearances add up in the ledger of forever. Marisol folded her arms. They planning something for rush hour. Biggest wallet in town, Mo agreed. Millions of man-minutes riding the red and blue. Syndicates trying for a heist. A full quarter-hour extracted from the city could empower them to, I don't know, flip cause and effect. Rewind their deaths. Rewrite contracts. Maybe worse. And this badge? She asked, drumming it with a fingernail. Copper's shield is minted from melted L-tracks, mixed with prismatic grain from the old Granger clock tower. That alloy anchors authority on both sides of the veil. Why else you think ghosts call you ma'am? Marisol exhaled. The badge weighed heavier now. Any advice? She asked. Yeah, Mo said, sealing the popcorn bag. Catch the 5:05 express tomorrow. That's prime siphon window. And if Holloway tips his hat again... He pressed the bag into her hand, free of charge, then thrust a faded subway token between the kernels. Hold that in your left palm when you talk to spirits. It translates. Left palm, badge over heart. Tools for impossible diplomacy. The night seeped forward. She rode her shift, scanning station cameras, scribbling incident notes. But her mind kept rewinding. Rush hour, time heist, badge as leverage. By the time she clocked out at 400, snow dusted the vacancy between rails. Chicago's colours dimmed, neon humming itself to sleep, but she lay awake in her studio apartment, heart synced to the city's restless tracks. At 16:40 the next day, Marisol strode into the underground control centre beneath the loop. Uniform crisp, eyes fueled by coffee and resolve. She'd pored over schedules. The 5:05 Express left Howard, zipped non-stop to the loop, then continued south. If the Syndicate wanted to steal a 15-minute block, they'd hijack that train's temporal momentum when it hit maximum ridership, just north of Fullerton, where two lines merged. She requested backup. The desk sergeant laughed. Ghosts? Stealing time? File a permit for hallucinogens, Vega. So she pocketed the token, clipped badge in full view, and headed topside alone. The platform already teemed. Bankers with coral scarves, teens in hollow headsets, union workers lugging neon-spattered tool belts. And sprinkled among them, shimmering in twilight, the regular dead. Marisol scanned for Holloway, but only saw a flapper, chewing gum, and a WAR sailor transfixed by a smartphone ad. Harmless. A horn blared. The 505 Express roared in, metal screaming against metal. Doors sighed. People surged aboard. Marisol slipped into the middle car, muscles coiled. She felt the shift at once. A micro-vacuum pop, as if the cabin had been unplugged from reality. The fluorescent tubes dimmed until each passenger's phone backlight became its own universe. The conductor's voice crackled through the speakers, slowed and deepened, words liquefying. Next, full of rosin. Her watch hands froze at 5:07. Ladies and gentlemen, came a new voice, syrupy and amplified, broadcast somehow through every device in the car. We regret to inform you the next 15 minutes have been cancelled for renovations. Passengers looked around, confused. A businesswoman tapped her watch, baffled. Someone's Instagram reel looped the same half-second indefinitely. A filament of frost traced the aisle. Ferryman Holloway appeared, flanked by 3 spectral figures in conductor uniforms scorched black at the cuffs. Their pocket watches dangled like pendulums. Holloway extended his arms theatrically. Return all unused minutes to the collection plate, and nobody gets rewritten. No one moved, paralyzed or disconnected from causality. Marisol couldn't tell. She slid her hand into her left pocket, squeezing Mo's token, felt its cool nickel whispering like wind in her skull. She stepped into the aisle. Holloway! Her voice rippled, echoing off invisible walls. CTA intervenes. Release the time frame. He turned, smile widening. Badge girl returns. You alone? More than enough. She raised her shield. It pulsed ember, radiating into both spectra of the car, mortal and otherwise. The 3 conductors shrank back. Holloway rolled his neck. Negotiation time, then. Marisol spoke quickly, token tinkling. The city owes you wages, right? Pension lost to the clock that killed you. A tragic oversight, he said, smoothing his suit. Hence we audit. Stealing 15 minutes from commuters won't balance your ledger. You need equity, acknowledgement. Let me reopen your case with the city comptroller. We'll adjust records, issue posthumous benefits. Holloway barked a laugh. You'll cut checks to corpses? I can do better, she improvised, feeling the badge hover warmer, ideas slotting into place like train cars. CTA issues lifetime passes. Why not after lifetime passes? Freedom to ride any line, any time, eternally. No need to pilfer minutes again. The conductors exchanged wary glances. Eternity passes held weight, mobility, dignity. Holloway's grin faltered. But power is an intoxicant. He twirled his fedora. Tempting, officer. Yet the thrill of larceny sweetens eternity, and my employer insists on a demonstration tonight. Employer? Marisol echoed. She'd assumed Holloway led the syndicate. As if summoned, the lights died completely. Darkness pressed so thick it bent sound. A silhouette bloomed at the far end of the car tower and draped in molten cogwheels and watch springs, eyes like burning clock faces. Time itself? Personified? No. Marisol recognized the shape from old depot photos. Station Master Bertram Crane, hired in 1895 when a signal malfunction caused a collision that killed 50. Rumor had him obsessed with controlling the schedule to redeem his reputation. Apparently, death hadn't quenched the obsession. Crane's voice rang like iron striking iron. Minutes are currency, officer. Chicago owes compound interest. The air smelled of ozone. Passengers' hair lifted, static charged. The car quivered as if dragged forward, then backward simultaneously. Windows flashed scenes out of order. Childhood, future, memories not yet lived. A father cradling a daughter who hadn't been born, a student shredding a doctorate he hadn't earned. Marisol's stomach flipped. If Crane completed the siphon, 15 minutes wouldn't just vanish. Every second inside that span would untether, rewriting billions of microcauses, fracturing present from past. She gripped her badge. Authority on both sides. Mo's words hammered. "Station Master Crane," she shouted, her voice tiny against collapsing chronology. "I cite Regulation 12B of the Rails and Vales Accord. Temporal expropriation exceeding 60 seconds requires quorum from a living officer of equal rank." Crane hesitated, gears ticking. "A rookie carries no equal rank." "This badge is cast from the city seal," she countered. "Symbol outranks seniority." Crane's form flickered. Law mattered to old bureaucrats, living or dead. "Quorum," Marisol repeated, heart galloping. "One living, one deceased officer. My vote is no." Holloway lifted an eyebrow, then addressed Crane. "Boss, she invokes parity. We must ballot." Crane snarled, but the gears suspended their grind. He loomed over Marisol, heatless flames swirling in his pupils. "You decline our withdrawal request. Offer counter compensation." Marisol swallowed. "Think. Eternity passes for all Syndicate members. Carve the compromise into city policy. In return, you renounce hostile chronomancy within city limits. Violations void the passes," the conductors whispered, fidgeting with watches. Holloway adjusted his carnation, pointedly sniffing it like mortal roses. Finally, Crane extended a hand of coalescing rust. The badge vibrated dangerously. Mo's token almost burned her palm. "Accepted," Crane decreed, "on one condition. The time we already seized tonight. We keep it." Marisol glanced at frozen passengers, each locked in loops of their own heartbeats. That stolen 15 minutes contained people's living experience. "Non-negotiable," she said. "Return every second." Crane's gears clanked in agitation. Holloway stepped between them. "Boss, new passes deliver unlimited minutes. Why squabble over a meager quarter hour?" Crane bared teeth of spinning cogs, but after an agonizing pause, he relented. "Very well." He snapped brittle fingers. Instantly, clocks unfroze. Phones resumed scrolling. The businessman resumed a sneeze he'd started mid-inhalation. The fluorescent bulbs regained ordinary lumens. Only Marisol, Holloway, Crane, and the conductors remained slightly out of phase, vibrating at some trans-temporal frequency. Crane glided toward the nearest window. The glass shimmered and parted, forming a vortex of ticking numerals. Holloway tipped his hat at Marisol. "Good luck with City Hall paperwork, officer." The Syndicate slipped through the portal, vanishing into a funnel of gold dust. The lights brightened as if nothing happened. Marisol exhaled so sharply her knees wobbled. She holstered baton, scanned passengers alive, confused and unharmed. A teen with headphones eyed her. "Hey, officer, did the train just, teleport?" "Electrical surge," she lied smoothly. "You'll get fare credit in the app." Reassured by anything that sounded official, the teen nodded. The train braked at Fullerton right on schedule. Doors opened, folks spilled onto the platform, already checking notifications about delays that hadn't occurred. Reality, it seemed, had sewn itself close. Paperwork proved far harder. Marisol spent 3 days drafting an interdimensional memo, proposal for posthumous ridership privileges. It read like satire but navigated 5 departments, each stamping approval once she flashed her badge and recited the incident number. Bureaucrats adored avoiding lawsuits, especially metaphysical ones. She visited Mo Jefferson with an update. "Passes minted next month," she said, sliding him an advance copy, a sleek black card shimmering with faint aurora. "Ghosts scan just like riders." Mo chuckled, wiping a tear. "Wait till Holloway sees that. He loved trinkets." He leaned over the kettle, voice softer. You did good, kid. Kept the trains running on time. Maricel smiled, but her gaze drifted to the tracks. A translucent conductor stood there, adjusting his cap, measuring her with respectful eyes. When he noticed her noticing, he raised 2 fingers in a cautious salute and dissolved into the tunnel. That evening, she worked the midnight shift. Rain slicked the streets again, neon bleeding in cursive. A southbound red line approached, chains clattering like skeleton applause. As it slowed, Marisol spotted a woman from a century ago holding a newborn swaddled in faded linens. The ghost looked up, uncertain. 1 foot aboard, 1 foot in oblivion. Marisol tapped her badge. It hummed. She smiled and nodded. "Ma'am," she said, voice carrying across both divides. "All riders welcome." The ghost stepped onto the train, clutching her impossible baby, and disappeared into the car's warm glow. The doors closed. The train rolled out, sparks tracing arcs against the city's heart, which kept right on beating on time, on track, neon-soaked and, for the moment, at peace.